King Kong 1933. That's right, folks. The start of the monster movie craze doesn't begin with King Kong, but the big creepy ones do. This was a weird movie. I've seen it before when I was younger, and I remember just like, this is great. Look at all this action and these characters and all this fun and these weird monsters and dinosaurs. And watching it this time around, I went, it's weird. I don't know if it's great. It's not bad. I'd argue to say it's a good movie. Like, it's fantastic. It looks great. The animatronics are great. Everything they used for the monsters is fantastic. Everything else, it's weird. It's a weird movie. If you love a film about a bunch of dudes just mumbling to each other while they're walking from set to set or running away from something, you're probably going to like this, because most of the movie, if not the majority, is just a group of white dudes on a beach, on a jungle, just like, mum, like, hey, we got to go there, this way, that way. Come on, watch out. Looking for this thing. It's like, yeah, great, man. That's what I want to see in my King Kong movie. And I get it. This isn't about King Kong. This movie is pretty much a love story, which it works. It's fine. I don't know. It's not great, but it is what it is. Essentially, we are following a film crew who is trying to get to this mysterious island so they can capture like the natives and make a cool movie. And you're like, that's fun. I'd love to see that. That's a great thing that Hollywood loves to do, is talk about itself. And that is what we are seeing here. Just Hollywood talking about how great it is. It's like, look, we're going to make so many good pictures. Nothing can stop us. There's also like this sense of like a meta narrative where like the guy who's making the film, Mr. Denham's like, I love making movies. I hate the idea that we have to put romance into them for people to sell them. Well, then this movie itself is a love story about how like Beauty and the Beast and how one great dame can tame the wild beast inside all of us. Cool. It's really weird. I just like, it's one of those things that when you watch it as an adult, it like makes sense that this is what the story is. I don't think it's bad. It sets up its tension really well. We start off in New York, we slowly build to the island, we're slowly building up to like this mystique and this creature. We are seeing the people worshiping these gods. It's really good. The tension is great. The story itself, not that cool. Like, it's just like, yeah, let's go. Let's watch a bunch of white dudes do this. And I get it. It's the 30s. I'm not upset about that. There are cultural depictions in this movie that don't hold up, and they shouldn't have worked then either. Like, they're just terrible cliches and bad, and I don't want to talk about them. But just like, it's such a basic bones movie, and it doesn't need to be anything more than that. You're just watching this crew. We're going to film on this island. Here we go. Look at how powerful we are. We're so great. It's weird. It's just such a weird thing to experience that you don't really know if you like it. It's like, okay, I understand we're following this crew. They're pretty likable for the most part, but there's so many expendable cast members that you're just like, fantastic. Absolutely something else. Like I said, there's a love story in here. There's one female character in this, and I understand why. Like, the director, like Mr. Denham even says, like, I don't want to work with women. There's no place for a woman on a boat. Like, yeah, okay. We got to sell the movie we're watching somehow, though, so we need the woman. And I guess there's kind of a theme or a metaphor that's being said about, like, society. I don't know. It's weird. It's not my favorite King Kong movie. I should say that right now. I think it's been done better. Like, I think the thing that people remember the most is probably the last half hour. I think it's like about the halfway point of the movie, like maybe 45. I think about an hour into the movie when you really start to see King Kong and the other creatures. That's the half people remember. But before we get there, we gotta slug our way through all this other crap. And it's boring. It's like, I understand, this is like the first big monster movie, so we're like, do we want to see monsters? That's all we want. If you just give us monsters, we're gonna like it more. But it's fine. Like, it's nothing bad. It's nothing great. It's just kind of weird the way it focuses on stuff. It's like, it's an anti-love story, then it becomes a love story, then it's like we're documenting this people. It's like, we don't really have like a script. Why do we have costumes for this lady if we don't really have like a script or an actual movie being made? It's really weird. It's really bizarre. But it kind of figures itself out in the last half, because that's when shit gets real. We sacrifice the lady to get Kong out there, and I will say, some people might not like the way Kong looks. I think it's impressive. if you remember the time it's taking place in, this is in the 30s. It is damn impressive what they were able to do with that. A technique that's been used a bunch of times before. There's like, I think it's like rubbers and plastics and like metal skeletons they're using to move it. It looks really good. The motions are flawless. At times, it's definitely aged, but I think for the most part, it looks consistently well. Same with the other creatures in there. You know, there's some great creatures of like dinosaurs and crabs and spiders. They look really well done. I think that's very impressive. And you know, one of the coolest things about this movie is just that every time a character dies, they just cut the audio right away. There's like, it just sounds so jarring. It's like, that's great. That is fantastic. Because it's like, it's not accurate, but it makes sense that just immediately the sound would die out. A great use of that. Every time like one of the creatures is like flinging a body around, I think it looks really well done. That is impressive. There's a great use of those characters and those creatures in here. It was fantastic. It's kind of weighed down by like the boring human stuff at the beginning, because if you're watching this, you don't really know what's going on. And you're like, oh, look, it's a bunch of people about to film stuff on a crew. You're going to think that it's going to be like the natives of the island that are going to be the bad guys, but they're not really. If anything, not a great depiction. And I'm curious how people would think about the depiction of like the natives on this island, if it's like culturally insensitive or not. But I think for the time, they did an all right job of handling this idea of like, we worship this thing because it's going to kill us if we don't. And then you white people showed up and ruined everything. I think it did an all right job of that. It doesn't become like the main focus later on, but it was for the most part pretty decent in its portrayal of that. I didn't have anything wrong to say. Like, it was all right. A lot of good screams in this too. Like, it was just fantastic the way people reacted to seeing the monster. Like, you could probably do a compilation of all the great screams from this movie. This sound fantastic, and I really like that a lot. So yeah, Kong looked great. The story, it's fine. A lot of weird stuff there, and I still think it's weird how they just got it to New York. Like, how did they get it to New York? How did they get Kong to New York? That's weird to me, right? That always seemed a little bit weird, but whatever. I think it's suspension of disbelief. They got it there. They're showing it off. It's pretty cool. I really like the scene with the Empire State Building with like the planes and everything. That looked really cool. You could tell that was like, that's what we're doing. That's what this movie is. It's only like the last 5 minutes, but it looked pretty good. I think that was very fun. Something else that I was just noticed this time around is the extended scenes. It's like we are spending extra time in a scene than it needs to be. Maybe because we're like filling for time because it's like an hour and 45 minutes. So we're just like, okay, so let's watch this King Kong wrestling like a T-Rex for like 2 full minutes. And you're just going to like watch it from the perspective of the person watching it. Okay, let's walk past the Stegosaurus for like an extended minute. Okay, I guess we're padding for time. It felt like we were padding for time. I guess maybe we just needed to use these puppets a little bit more. I don't know. But it was fine. Like, it wasn't a bad thing. For the most part, it worked. It's not a great movie. The human characters at the beginning, you're just like, yeah, I get it. Let's get into the rhythm. They're kind of likable. For the most part, they're not really. But the one thing about this movie I did want to talk about was like, what kind of a message is it was Beauty Killed the Beast? What kind of a message is that? I don't think it works for the most part. For starters, it's stupid because you're saying that a woman can stop any man from being his true beast. That's dumb. It's not wrong, but like that's what you're basing this on. That's the last line of your movie. That King Kong became tamed because of this woman. We saw him literally attack everybody else. So I don't think that's accurate. Was Beauty that killed the beast? No, dude. It was the guns that killed the beast. Like, I saw it happen. We all saw it happen, bro. It was the guns that killed the beast. That's what it was. Weird movie. Not bad. It was solid. Interesting enough. The character looked great. The creatures looked great. Story was a little bogged down at times, but I'm not going to hold that against it for being something like this. For the most part, it holds up. It's very fun. I could watch it again. Not for a while, though, because I'm like, yeah, I need a break from like this world. Like, the characters are fine, but they're not that likable. It's a good movie. I recommend checking it out. If you're looking for something to watch before you go see Kong, I think it could be fun. Or watch the 2005 remake of this, because that's probably better or not. I don't know. It's like probably equal in whatever it is. But whatever. It's an alright movie. I recommend you check it out just for the historical relevance of that piece and the genre it created. It pretty much saved RKO from like bankruptcy. So good on you, King Kong. You really brought them into the modern era with that one. So thank you guys so much for watching this rendition of Galactic Tales. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, please give us a rating over there. As always, you guys can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.